It's Monday, February 2nd, 2026. For what feels like the last decade, whenever we talked about electric sedans, we were really only talking about one company.
It was a monologue, yeah. You had Tesla, and then you had, well, everybody else just trying to catch up to Tesla.
Exactly. The Model 3 was just the default. But looking at the stack of research we have in front of us today, dealer reports from Arizona, deep technical reviews from the UK, and some pretty intense durability tests out of Germany, it feels like that monologue is finally becoming a real conversation.
It really does.
And the car at the center of it is the 2026 Kia EV4. So the question we're trying to answer today isn't just, is it a Tesla killer, but more. Is it playing a completely different game for a totally different driver?
I think that's the perfect way to frame it. Because this isn't trying to out-accelerate a Model 3 performance. It's doing something that's, I think, actually more important. It's out there on the roads right now. Phoenix, Europe, Australia. And it feels like a shift from the idea of an EV as a gadget to an EV as just a car.
A really good car. Let's start with the look of the thing. Because for the last few years, we've been in what I call the jelly bean era of EVs. Everything is smooth and round to cut through the air.
Right, featureless.
Yeah, and the EV4 is not that. It looks like it was designed with a ruler. It's chunky.
It is. Kia's name for their design language is Opposites United, which, is marketing speak.
Of course.
But the result is this really geometric, almost architectural look. It has sharp angles, and it stands out.
Okay, but here's where my brain gets stuck. In the EV world, we're taught that drag is the enemy. A boxy car should have terrible range. Yet the spec sheet says the drag coefficient is 0.23.
Yeah.
It's incredibly slippery. How does a car that looks so square cheat the wind that effectively?
It's a huge piece of engineering, actually. You're right. Normally, that shape would be like pushing a brick through the air.
Yeah.
But they're using a lot of really clever active aerodynamic.
What does that mean, active?
So you have flaps in the front bumper that physically close when the battery doesn't need cooling. And they have these things called air curtains that route air around the front wheels, which are a huge source of turbulence.
So they're not just letting the air hit the car, they're telling it where to go.
Exactly. They're managing the airflow. And the real secret sauce is at the back. It has this long tail design where the roofline extends way further back than you'd expect.
Right, that's what's causing all the confusion in the reviews. Is it a sedan? Is it a hatchback?
It's kind of both. It's a sedan profile, but it has a hatch. But that long tail is the key. It keeps the air from tumbling and creating a vacuum behind the car, which is what actually creates most of the drag.
And I guess that also helps with interior space, right? You don't have the roofline cutting into rear headroom.
Precisely. It solves two problems at once. You get that amazing 0.23 number, and you get a massive interior. It's really clever.
All right, let's get into the showdown, because nobody buys a car like this in a bubble. There's always another browser tab open to Tesla's website, and the first thing you see is the price. Our data from Phoenix shows the EV4 starting around $37,000.
Which is aggressive, very aggressive. The Model 3 is sitting around $42,500, so that's a $5,500 difference right out of the gate.
That's a huge number. I mean, that's not just pocket change. That's years of charging. That's a family vacation.
It is, but you do have to factor in the buying experience. With Tesla, what you see is what you pay.
Right.
With Kia, you're walking into a dealership.
And this is where my eye starts twitching. We saw in the notes from that Arizona dealer Earnhardt Peoria Kia, they have this Earnhardt protection package.
Yeah.
It's $999 for window tint and some plastic on the door edges.
The classic dealer add-on.
Right. So that $5,500 advantage suddenly feels a lot smaller when I'm arguing with a sales manager about $1,000 worth of stickers. Is having a dealer network actually a good thing here?
It's a classic double-edged sword, isn't it?
Yeah.
The buying process can be annoying, absolutely. But for the average person, not an early adopter, having a building in their town that they can drive the car to when it makes a weird noise, that's a huge psychological safety net.
That's a good point.
Tesla service centers are still pretty spread out. Kia has a shop everywhere, so you trade a potential headache up front for peace of mind down the road.
Okay, I can see that. And staying on that idea of friction, let's talk about the software. I live on Apple CarPlay. My whole digital life is there. Tesla locks you out of that completely.
They do. They want you in their ecosystem, full stop.
But Kia just gives you the keys. You want Android Auto? Fine. CarPlay. Go for it. It feels less controlling.
It's a different philosophy. Tesla believes their interface is the best, and you should learn it. Kia believes your phone is the best, and they should just work with it. For most people, Kia's approach is just easier.
All right, let's climb inside the car itself, because on paper, the interior sounds amazing. A 30-inch panoramic screen setup.
Yeah, two 12.3-inch screens right next to each other. It looks very premium.
But then I'm reading the UK reviews, and they point out a design flaw that seems, I don't know, kind of baffling. There's another little 5-inch screen in the middle just for climate control, right?
That's right, tucked between the main two.
And steering wheel completely blocks it.
Yep. Depending on how you sit, the top of the steering wheel cuts right across it. You literally have to crane your neck to see the fan speed.
How does that even happen? How does that get past the prototype stage?
It's a perfect example of form over function. They wanted that clean, single pane of glass look, but they forgot to check if the driver could, see it. But, and this is a really big but, Kia did something that completely saves it from being a disaster.
Physical buttons.
Physical buttons, actual, real, clickable buttons and toggle switches for your climate controls, and a normal turn signal stalk.
That's so funny we have to celebrate that as a feature, right? Wow, a button.
It is. But after years of cars making you dive 3 menus deep on a touchscreen just to turn on defrost, a simple button you can find without looking feels like pure luxury. It's safer.
Okay, let's get a little more technical and talk powertrain. This is a dedicated EV platform, but they made an interesting choice with the charging. The bigger EV6 has that super fast 800-volt system. The EV4 uses a 400-volt system.
And that's a really important distinction. It's a cost-saving measure, primarily. 800-volt architecture is more complex and more expensive. By going with 400-volt, they can hit that lower price point.
But does that mean charging is painfully slow? Is this old tech?
It's not the fastest on the market, no. But the real-world numbers are pretty good. We're looking at a 10 to 80% charge in about 30 minutes. The 800-volt system gets you there in about 18 minutes. So the question is, for the average driver, is saving 12 minutes on the occasional road trip worth an extra, say, $5,000 on the sticker price?
Probably not. 30 minutes is a coffee break. 18 minutes is still...
Yeah.
You're just standing there waiting.
Exactly. It's optimized for how people actually live, not just for winning a spec sheet war.
And what about range? We've got the standard range with a 58 kilowatt-hour battery and a long range with about 81. The U.S. EPA estimate is around 330 miles for that big battery.
Which is solid. Right in the mix.
But then you see the European numbers, the WLTP figures, and they're claiming nearly 400 miles. Why is there such a huge difference?
It's all in the way they test the cars. The European cycle has a lot more slow city-style driving where EVs are super efficient. The EPA cycle in the U.S. has more high-speed highway cruising, which, as we said, is where drag really starts to hammer the battery.
So the EPA number is your worst-case road trip number, and the WLTP is your best-case city commute number.
That's a great way to put it. In the real world, it's going to land somewhere in between. And honestly, it's so close to the Model 3's range that for most people, the difference is going to be negligible.
I want to shift to what I think is maybe the single most impressive thing in this whole research packet, the durability testing. Kia took this car to the Nürburgring.
To the Green Hill, yeah.
And not just for a publicity lap. They ran it for 10,000 kilometers on that track.
Which, for anyone who doesn't know, is just brutal. 1 mile on the Nürburgring is like 100 miles of wear and tear on a normal road. The stress on every single component is astronomical. And they did over 6,000 miles of it.
While pushing the car to 95% of its maximum load.
And this is the punchline. After all of that torture, a total of 120,000 kilometers of testing, they measured the battery's state of health. It was still at 95%.
That's the number. That is the thing that will sell this car to skeptical buyers. Forget 0 to 60. The biggest fear is that your $20,000 battery is going to be useless in 5 years.
And this data just demolishes that fear. It proves that their battery cooling and management system is world-class. If it can survive the Nürburgring, it can survive a hot summer day in Phoenix traffic.
That's peace of mind you can't get from a spec sheet.
Yeah.
So, okay, we've established it's tough.
Yeah.
But is it fun to drive? It's front-wheel drive, about 200 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 7.5 seconds.
So, by EV standards, it's not fast. A dual-motor Tesla will smoke it off the line.
But again, does that actually matter to the person buying this car?
I really don't think so. Every review we read said the same thing. The suspension is tuned for comfort. One of the UK sources said it just glides over broken British tarmac. It's made to be smooth.
Which, for my daily commute, is way more important than a neck-snapping launch. I hit a dozen potholes a day.
Right. It's about being a pleasant place to spend time. The massive rear legroom, they called it limo-like. The quiet cabin, the flat floor. It's a living room on wheels.
Though they did throw in some weird tech. we have to talk about the sounds of nature feature.
Oh my gosh, yes.
You can have your car play you the sound of a calm sea or a rainy day.
Look, it's a gimmick, but I kind of get it. You're sitting in traffic, you're stressed, and instead of just silence, you can have some calming white noise. Most people will use it once, but it's a thought.
Maybe. I think I'd be more likely to use the ChatGPT voice assistant to find a coffee shop.
Which is actually useful, yeah. And the other feature that's genuinely a game changer is V2L, vehicle to load.
Right. You can plug things into your car.
You can. There's an outlet inside under the back seat for a laptop, and you can get an adapter for the outside charge port and run an extension cord to whatever, power tools, a campsite, a mini fridge.
It turns your car into a giant mobile battery pack. It's not just a car, it's a piece of utility infrastructure.
That's it. That summarizes the whole philosophy of the EV4.
Okay, so let's land the plane here. We've got someone with $40,000 to spend on a new EV. Who buys the Kia?
You buy the Tesla if what you want is raw speed, that thrill of instant acceleration, and a minimalist, tech-forward interior. It's still the electric sports sedan.
And the EV4.
You buy the EV4 if you want a comfortable, practical, and familiar-feeling car that happens to be electric. You want Apple CarPlay, you want physical buttons for the heat, you want a quiet ride, and you want a 10-year warranty that lets you sleep at night.
It feels like the grown-up choice.
I think that's fair. We're seeing the EV market mature. The early adopters, they're already on their second Tesla. This car is for the next wave of buyers, the early majority. And they care less about 0 to 60 and more about, is there a dealer in my town? And will it survive a pothole?
So it's less of an EV as a gadget and more of an EV as an appliance. And that's a good thing.
A great thing. It's the technology becoming so good that it just fades into the background and works.
Before we sign off, I just want to take a second and do something we probably should do more often.
Please do.
I really want to say a sincere thank you to you, the person listening right now. We know your time is valuable. You could be listening to anything.
Yeah, but you chose to spend this time with us geeking out about battery chemistry and aerodynamics. And that curiosity is, it's genuinely what makes doing this worthwhile.
We really do appreciate you letting us be part of your drive or your workout or whatever you're doing. Grazie a tutti voi che ci ascoltate.
Well said.
So when you're out there on the road, keep an eye out for these sharp, chunky new sedans. The future's looking a little more square and I think a lot more practical. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.